So today we're going to be making my favorite recipe of Linzer Tarts, which comes from this cookbook. It's called Children's Cookbook. So the first thing you have to do in baking, which almost everybody knows, is have a clean workspace and wash your hands. So the first thing it says is preheat the oven 325. Lined baking sheet with parchment paper, but we don't have a lot of parchment paper and we only have one pan, so we're gonna make batches. So line it. So it's not gonna look perfect, of course, here. So the next thing it says is to process our butter, sugar, and vanilla extract, and the lemon zest in a food processor. So we're gonna add the butter to our food processor, and don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. So it says to put in 12 tablespoons of butter, which on the package, one stick of butter was 8 tablespoons, which is half a cup of butter. So half of another one would be 12. It's a bit of fractions. So now we're gonna do the sugar, which it says here is 2 1/3. So we're gonna go and do 2 of these, and make sure you flatten it out so that we have the perfect amounts. And we're done. Now we do the pure vanilla extract, which is 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon. And remember to pour it over the sink so that if you spill any, you don't get the portions mixed up. And then you'll be really careful and put it in. Rating the zest. More. See if it's 1 teaspoon. Don't be afraid to really get in there. So, check. And this is why we washed our hands before, so that we're going to be touching the food. So then we come over to the food processor, dump it in. And now it says to do it in the food processor until smooth. I'd say that's good, smooth. So the next part of our Linzer Tart recipes is to add the egg yolk and the flour to the food processor and process again until the mixture resembles breadcrumbs and is starting to come together in a dough. So it first says the egg, which I already cracked into this bowl, but then it says egg yolk. So I'm gonna need another bowl. So what I'm doing here is I am separating the egg yolk from the whites, egg whites. So I'm gonna transfer it, and then I'm gonna put it in with the rest of the other egg. Now we're gonna throw this in the garbage. So now we have the egg whites, which we don't need for this recipe, but sometimes we need it. So now we're gonna add this to the smooth beginnings of the dough. Out. Baking takes up a lot of different utensils. So now we have to add the flour. Over here it says 2 cups of all-purpose flour. So we're gonna take that cup out so we have the right proportions. Dump it in. That's 1 cup. And 2 cups. So now we're going to, as it says here, process it until it becomes breadcrumby and starts to form a dough. So we're going to pulse it the first time so that it just gets mixed in, and then it's good. So I'm going to turn it off and take from the outside and push it in so that all the flour gets combined. So it's starting to get to that doughy texture, so a few more times should do the trick. I'm kneading it until it is smooth, and then we are going to put it in a container. I'm going to transfer into a container, put it in the fridge. Set the timer. So now we are going to roll it out to get it to be that smooth consistency so that we can use our cookie cutters, which I don't have the exact ones, so I'm getting creative. And don't be afraid to get creative. So now I'm gonna take my, and don't be afraid to start over. It took me a few times to get it like this. So now I'm gonna take my creative cookie cutters, and I'm going to put the big one down, and then I'm going to twist it so that it gets separate. So and then you keep it there. So then for the next one, what you do is you cut it out, same way. But then you add the smaller thing so that you have it like a ring that fits over our other cookie. So we're not gonna bake it like this, but the final product will be this, with jam inside and confectioner's sugar on top. The recipe says to fridge them for 15 minutes, but I found a quick trick. Put it in the freezer for 5 minutes and then let them defrost a bit, and then it's much quicker than putting it in the fridge for 15 minutes. So I just finished thawing them after 5 minutes in the freezer. So now we are going to put them in the oven at 325. That in. And then I'm gonna set the timer for 15 minutes, but for me, in my experience, I cook them until they are golden brown, or else they will be raw. Well, I just took my cookies out of the oven, and now I am putting them on the rack to cool. So I'm gonna put them the pair together, and remember safety, so always have that glove with you or adult assistance when you are near the stove and it is on. So now that the cookies are all cool and baked, we are going to put the jam and confectioner's sugar on. So you choose your pair, choosing these two, you see if they fit, yep. And then you do the jam before you put the confectioner's sugar on. So since this is straight out of the fridge, I'm just going to do a little whirl. Take the jam out, put some jam on, a little bit more so that that strawberry taste comes through. And then take the cookie, put it back on the rack, and then so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour a little. So then we're going to take some, sprinkle it on top, put the confectioners on top, and then my family likes it when I add an extra dollop of jam right in the middle, like that. After doing all those steps and all that work, we have our beautiful Linzer Tarts. Bye! I hope I see you again soon.